Money comes when you apply this. Welcome back, Success Nation. In today's video, I'll share with you 8 key takeaways which I have personally taken from Donald Trump. I have read all his books, I've attended even his seminars and saw his hotel in New York when I went to New York, and do really find him very unique and straightforward when it comes to advice and helping people to become the strongest version of themselves and being business people.
Each of you has the power to change hearts, transform lives, and shape your country's destinies.
Key factor number 1, don't chase money. Now that is very strange to hear from a 7 or 8 billion dollar guy like Donald Trump, right? When you see him, all you see or think about is he loves money, he chases money, he would rather sacrifice for money. But guess what? He says don't do it only for the money, simply because you have to do it because you love to do it. If you only do it for the money, you will have a lot of failures, a lot of drawbacks, a lot of setbacks, and guess what? You're gonna quit. Key factor number 2, never give up. You see in his book, Think Big, the one key takeaway, which he even mentions nearly in every single chapter in bold, is to never give up. He says if you can only believe and take away this one advice, your whole life will change. You will become successful like nothing. Simply is because he has lived it. When you fail multiply, when you go from being a $1 billion businessman into bankruptcy, which he has been to twice or 3 times, then the only success way you can follow is to not give up. That's the only success tip that you can follow. Because can you imagine having billions of dollars and then zero and bankruptcy because you're so many billions of dollars in debt? I mean, that's crazy. That's just like another level of failure. That's like if you have zero, you are millions and billions more richer than him. You see what that means? So it's really crazy to go from super successful to minus all the success that you had, okay? So the only thing which he always says and keeps on saying nearly in all of his speeches, and even he represents it, you can see on his face, on the way he talks, the way he dresses, and his philosophy and all his books and businesses, is to never give up. Never, never, never give up. I mean, if you think about it, just like the word never give up, this phrase usually comes out from athletes, usually comes out from military people, because they go through so many struggles and hurdles. Guess what? Business is the most competitive sport out there in today's planet. So you have to be more tough-minded than all other industries or all other fields or all other athletes to win, to make it. It's very competitive, okay? And because it's built on so many things and it's very diversified, and you know, you cannot manage people, it's very hard to be in control by. So it's very competitive, and the only way you're gonna make it is through not giving up. Key factor number 3, God is in the details. Always they say, you know, devil in the details, God in the details, same concept. So you have to always be very careful in the details, because that's where people usually lie. That's where people usually play around. That's where you have to be like an inspector. That's why you have to have that sense if something is really wrong but is not showing, so you gotta just keep on investigating. When I was in the banking industry, I really built up my muscle when it comes to details, because they say just by looking at the client's name or face, you get the sense, okay? They call it the, I don't know, like audit sense, or like, you know, financial sense when it comes to money. How good they are with money, how good they are with credit, okay? And you gotta just keep on digging, seeing their behavior, financial behavior, seeing their movements, something we call Sign It in the bank, okay, where you can see all his previous financial history, whether in the same bank or in the different bank, or anything that they have bought on installment. So when I started to put more details, I started to open up a different sector in my brain where I can do so much in. Okay, you can just grab this small detail and you can make so much out of it. You can be so creative, which most people don't. That's where you have the capacity to look at gaps in the market, or to look at gaps in people, or to look at these kind of things which are not very visible. Not everybody sees, but sometimes you gotta just feel it. So you have to be in the details, because that's where most people hide it and lie. So you gotta be very questionable. Key factor number 4, focus. You gotta keep focusing, and of course there's a difference between thinking and focusing. Okay, so for example, if you have not trained your brain to focus on one thing, to not be distracted, to be in your own bubble, to read books and educate yourself how to be in your present moment, so you can accomplish 1 minute over 10 hours, which normal people do. When they interviewed Andrew Carnegie, which is the best business human being ever known on the planet, they told him, what is the number 1 key factor that you have most people don't have? Because you've got amount of wealth most people don't have. And guess what he said? Focus. He says, I am able to think about one thing for 10 seconds, where most people, the maximum period is 1 to 3 seconds. So he can have his concentration for 10 seconds. And that exact same advice were given by Bill Gates and Warren Buffett when they were seen having dinner together, and just a random guy came to them and tell them, guess what? I'm fed up, I had it. I don't want to read anymore. I don't want to listen to anything anymore. I just want one thing, just one. Summarize it, everything, Summarize all your success, all your education, all your knowledge into one word. And they said, focus, F-O-C-U-S. Without this, you will never be successful. You will always be distracted. So it kind of makes sense if you do educate yourself and invest your time and effort into this one word, right? Key factor number 5, he says that the harder you work, the luckier you get. He still says that luck is very complicated factor. He doesn't really know how it works, but he believes that the harder you work, the luckier you get. So if you actually do what you love, you're gonna work super hard and become super successful at it, because you love what you do. What else would you be doing? So he always had the key concept. He never takes any days off. He sends his families to trips, and when he has an empty space from work, he would just travel to that vacation with them, or go to that place where they're having a vacation and then come back to work for a day or two, because that's how much he loves his work, that's how much he believes in it, and that's how much it fulfills him. Key factor number 6, follow your gut. The older I get and the more experienced and educated I get, the more I believe in this word, gut. Simply because some things, nobody knows everything. You cannot predict everything. You cannot study everything. So there are certain situations in life where you have to take action even if you're not sure. So how can you do that? Would you ask someone else? What if there's nobody there that you trust that you can ask in order to make that decision? So the only thing that you have is your gut. If you feel right, you go in. If you feel 1% there's something wrong, you just close the deal, look somewhere else, don't go in. In Arabic we call it heads. Okay, for those of you who understand Arabic and watching my video, it's called heads. So many people don't talk about it. Some people don't even understand it. It doesn't make sense to them, but it is built in us as human beings for a reason. Just like imagination, we have to take care of it, we have to take advantage of it, we have to use it, otherwise we will lose it. Key factor number 7, believe in yourself. You always have to believe in yourself, especially when things get hard, especially when you remember that key factor number 2, which is to not give up. Okay, always say words like, I can overcome this, while you are in that struggle. Always think about being victorious. Always believing in God that He's gonna help you one way or another which you don't know yet, which has never been in your path through your journey. Because if you do new things, definitely you will not know where the help will be from, because you're not very familiar, you're not very comfortable with it. But you always have to believe in yourself. That's what he always says. And all of these key factors, guys, I do believe and practice myself. It is not just like I am facilitating what Donald Trump is saying. Key factor number 8, last but not least, is to love what you do. I mentioned this over all of the 8 lists because I mean, that's what it all boils down to, right? You got a balance between investing in it, doing it, thinking about it, you know, strategizing for it, just like anything you do. You see, before, when I jumped into reading personal development, you know, being the strongest version of myself, educating myself, pushing my boundaries, doing things that I am fear of, so on and so on and so on, I used to not know that you have the right to study, to invest, to think about 24/7, 365 things that you love. I thought that what you love, you cannot do because it won't do you good and it is not a good thing. So don't speak about it, don't think about it, don't do it, don't share it with others. I used to think, why is this word like that? And there are certain periods of time in my life when I was young, I used to think this word is ridiculous. I hate it. Okay, what kind of life is this that, you know, you only do things that you hate, you don't do things that you love, you don't even think about it, you don't even be creative about it. So unfortunately, these kind of things are not taught in school, not taught by our teachers, and they always give us the emphasis that you guys are losers, you are students and losers, because all you want to do is have fun. Guess what? They are the losers because they are doing the things which they don't like to do, for those who are sharing this comment to students, and they should give that position to someone who does like teaching, because teaching, speaking from being a professor, has an amazing but very important message to deliver. Okay, these guys are the next future which you're gonna start teaching and speaking about. So whatever you tell them, they're just gonna absorb them and it will manifest in their lives. And guess what? Karma. So it will come back to you, because that's the responsibility which you've been given by God to fulfill, but you have abused it. Why? Because you're so fearful, you're so discouraged, that's how you were raised, and I don't know what else to say, you know? Like, give love and love will come back to you. Give hate and hate will come back to you in multiple and different creative ways. So here you guys have it, the 8 key factors which Donald Trump made him successful and believes in. I truly like Donald Trump when it comes to personal development, education, being real, competing, being the best, and quality work. You know, I've went to his hotel and I've seen quality right in through my eyes. If you own a hotel, guys, 5-star hotel, I mean, that's it, you know, forget your house, you know. He lives on the penthouse on the, I don't know, 80th or 60th floor of his hotel, and his office is right, you know, the level below that, and he's just, you know, working, living, enjoying his life all at one place. You know, that's what makes him successful, and I truly believe in some of his key concepts when it comes to being successful. I mean, look at how much he's worth, look at how he looks. He's been run for US president, and I think he will start to run again for US president. He's very straightforward. So if you haven't yet liked this video, don't forget to like it now. Subscribe to my channel, and also hop off to my website to check out my products and services. If you haven't purchased and read my book, guys, I highly do recommend you grab a copy from Amazon in English format. And if you like to read it in Arabic, it's all over Kuwait. You can visit any library store and find it, where I have for you strategies and put into practice how you can exactly implement them in order to live the life which you have been supposed to live.